for the city of St. Louis is stopping a certain duty for the office that they've done for decades. He claims it's about money, but other tells First Alert 4's David Amilati that the new sheriff in town is instead abusing his power.
What we're talking about here is an important service that uses your tax dollars. If a detainee in the city's jail gets sick and needs to go to the hospital, 2 deputies will transport that person to get care, supervise all during treatment, even if it's days or weeks, and then return that person to the jail. But in this letter, the city sheriff says they won't do it anymore, and it has the mayor fuming.
To just drop this on us at a time when our city is dealing with the worst calamity we have seen in my lifetime, and now to say that we're no longer able to transport people in our custody to much needed medical assistance is ludicrous.
St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer not holding back with First Alert 4 investigates about Sheriff Alfred Montgomery stopping hospital detail with less than 2 weeks' notice. The sheriff's letter to the mayor says budget issues have prompted the department to reevaluate its capacity to provide the service, something Spencer scoffs at.
To cite overages, a good chunk of these dollars that have been spent on lobbyists that have exploded. The costs of that of the sheriff's office have exploded. To see the mass firings that were performed immediately, the massive amount of cost to the city as a result of that.
The hospital transportation is no longer sustainable.
Sheriff Montgomery spoke before aldermen in a committee meeting on May 13th, saying he's understaffed.
We are currently having to pull deputies from courts and security to cover the hospital details. We are currently pulling from our overtime fund to incentivize deputies to cover these shifts.
Yet the sheriff's team was also asking for thousands of dollars to buy golf carts.
To transport equipment from if we need to make a run to the hospital or something like that.
Still, some aldermen questioned whether deputies should be doing hospital detail at all.
Why is the sheriff's office transporting inmates from any facility to the hospital and then worrying about them while they're there?
The sheriff argues in his letter the duty appears to fall largely outside of the statutory scope of the sheriff's department, saying he cannot identify a clear statutory mandate assigning this responsibility solely to the sheriff's office. He even references this 2002 document from the city councilor's office, putting the responsibility on the Department of Corrections.
In the history that I know of the sheriff department, that's always been a responsibility of the sheriff department.
But former St. Louis City Sheriff Vernon Betts calls the new sheriff's decision egregious.
Is he Donald Trump or what? He just makes a decision that he's going to seize.
He says this job was assigned to the sheriff's office decades ago, and he says Montgomery's inability to manage staff and a budget shows bad judgment.
We have responsibility that we have been doing for years, and now all of a sudden this guy knows so much that he's going to reinvent the wheel and all that kind of stuff. Come on.
In his letter, Montgomery puts the budget pinch on Betts, his predecessor.
Whatever problems he's having, he's wanting to blame it on Vernon Betts. No. Take the boot by the straps and handle your business and quit blaming everything on somebody else.
Montgomery claims the city's corrections department has the budget and staff to pick up hospital detail. In a statement, the city's Department of Public Safety tells First Alert 4 investigates they are in communication with the appropriate parties, writing, "The Division of Corrections remains steadfast in its commitment to the safety and well-being of both detainees and staff. This includes timely and appropriate transportation for medical care are met with the utmost priority and care." Still, the mayor says corrections has enough on its plate. The sheriff should do the job.
Our CJC folks have an enormous amount of responsibility getting the CJC to a place where we all feel confident that that it's running the best it possibly can. To saddle them with additional roles and responsibilities, to thrust this upon them is inhumane. That's all I can say.
I did ask Sheriff Montgomery for an interview. His office said he was too busy. But they sent a statement reading in part, the decision prioritizes legality, operational capacity, and the responsible use of taxpayer dollars. You'll remember, First Alert 4 Investigates has broken multiple stories over the sheriff's controversial moves. St. Louis police tell us they've handed over information about the sheriff to the FBI for an investigation. You can find our previous reporting on that inside your First Alert 4 news app. David Amilati, First Alert 4 Investigates.